Do you want to shoot long exposure water scenes like the ocean or waterfalls with your iPhone? If you've tried using the default camera app, you've probably noticed its limitations. The shutter can't stay open long enough, and the images often lose detail in shadows and highlights. In this video, I'll show you a pro technique that solves those problems, stacking multiple raw images to create smooth, silky water, which allows for far better dynamic range and details than what the default camera app can achieve. To demonstrate, let's shoot this beautiful sunset scene. If you capture this with the default camera app, you'd end up with something like this. It's not bad, but it doesn't have the long exposure blur effect you might be looking for. And if you check the metadata, you'll see why. The shutter speed is 1/99 seconds, which is far too fast, and that's the slowest the iPhone could manage because the scene is so bright. In addition, you can see that the iPhone has applied clarity and sharpening enhancements, which introduce an overly crisp and artificial look. On top of that, it also applies heavy noise reduction that ends up smearing a lot of the shadow detail. So if you want genuinely higher quality results and a smoother effect, the solution is to take full manual control of the shooting process using image stacking. This means capturing multiple shots, called frames, at the same settings and then averaging them together for a cleaner, more natural final image. To start off, let's capture our raw shots. The process is the same as in my last video, where I used image stacking for noise reduction. While you could take the shots one by one using any manual camera app, for this demo, I'll be using our partner app, AURAHDR camera, because it has the tools to make this workflow a lot easier. But before taking the shots, I'm going to slightly underexpose the shot, since I want to preserve those beautiful sunset colors and avoid blowing out the highlights. I'll tap the exposure compensation button, which is a new feature in AURAHDR 10, and set it to -0.7. Next, I'll go to the HDR bracket raw option in the shooting menu. I'll tap the context button and make sure high quality mode is enabled. This ensures the camera uses the longest shutter speed possible for a proper exposure. For the bracketing mode, I'll select stacking. This will capture 7 shots at exactly the same settings, also called frames, without underexposing or overexposing, as in traditional exposure bracketing. Next, I'll take the shot. There, 7 frames have been captured. I'll tap the shutter 2 more times to bring the total to 21 images. You can of course keep taking more shots for an even smoother blur, but for our purposes, this will be enough. There, shooting is now complete, and all the photos are saved to your iPhone's photo library. Next, I'll transfer the raw files to my desktop for editing. So here I am on my desktop. The next step is to process the raw files. For this demo, I'll be using Luminar Neo as I find it far simpler and easier to use for beginners, and has a built-in photo manager that allows me to copy and paste adjustments. It is also reasonably priced, especially now that it's on Black Friday sale. But of course, feel free to use any raw editor you prefer. In the Develop panel, I'll start by lifting the shadows. This really shows the advantage of shooting in RAW over JPEG. As you can see, a lot more detail can be recovered in the dark areas, very common in a high contrast scene like this one. You'll also notice that unlike with the default camera app, the details aren't smeared because raw files are unprocessed and won't apply any noise reduction. Next, I'll go to the Enhance panel to make the sky and the overall image really pop. And just like that, the processing is done. Next, I'll go back to the catalog. I'll right-click and copy the adjustments. Then, I'll select the rest of the images and paste the adjustments, applying them to all 21 shots. And there you go, the edits have been applied. Next, I'll export the images. And there, the export is done. Next, let's stack the images in Affinity. I'll go to File, New Image Process. I'll select the files and run the stacking. There, stacking is done. I'll duplicate one image and drag it to the top for comparison. Here is the before and the after. And you can see a night and day improvement where we were able to get a beautiful long exposure effect with all the details intact, something only RAW files can deliver and is not possible with the default iPhone camera app. Finally, let's perform some final touches. I'll merge the layers. Next, I'll navigate back to the develop persona to straighten the image using the crop tool and apply sharpening via the detail panel to make the image really pop. So that's how you get the highest quality Silky-Smooth blurred water with just your iPhone using image stacking of raw images. I hope you found this video helpful. By the way, if you're looking to get Luminar Neo for your raw editing needs, you can get it at an even lower price by using my link in the description and the code TAKE20 for 20% off. And don't forget to check out AURAHDR on the App Store, the best app for computational photography. With every purchase, you help support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.